Hello everyone, and welcome to Movie Night. I'm your host, Alizza Danika. So glad you could join me. On the roster is a modern horror classic made in 2019 by one of the most revolutionary horror directors of our time, Ari Aster. It stars one of my favorite actresses of all time, Florence Pugh, who I enjoyed in Fighting with My Family, Black Widow, and Cooking with Flo. This is a movie that is said to have people walking out of theaters due to its grotesque nature. This movie is Midsommar. Midsommar? Midsommar? Anyways, grab a snack, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's have movie night. So, Midsommar. I haven't watched this movie in about a year, so going into it again with kinda fresh vision was really interesting. Like, obviously I knew what was gonna happen throughout the movie, but it was kinda like seeing it all for the first time again. I mean, just the opening credits scene really sets the mood of the whole movie, which is to say it's incredibly unsettling. Also, can I just say the sound production of this movie is insane. Everything is used to serve a point, a purpose. It's not just cheap jump scares. Danny's screams and sobs throughout the movie really melds into the music, which melds into the sirens, which melds into violins, and I don't know, it's just really cool. Obviously, I have to mention the visual effects of this movie as well. Camera angles and the movement of the camera are such a huge part of what makes this movie so brilliant. For example, the scenes where characters are off screen but are still technically on screen through the reflections in mirrors. It shows that despite talking, there's this disconnect and distance between the characters. And then, of course, the overhead bathroom to airplane cut, or transition rather, is very famous for being so cool. Also, the majority of the movie is shot in the daytime, with fresh light and muted but very vibrant colors, which I think is kind of rare to see in the horror genre. The use of light rather than dark actually makes the movie a bit scarier, in my opinion, since everything is exposed out in the sun, so you don't really know what to expect. And then when things do get scary and gory, it's just such a contrast to the setting. Anyways, I'm starting to get a little analytical and pretentious about it, so let me rant about Christian for a second, because oh my god, he is awful. Do I think he should have been burned alive? No. But my god, I was hoping he would be killed throughout the entire movie. He's just the worst, constantly gaslighting Danny and blaming his feelings on her. He also was essentially going to steal his friend's dissertation, which is awful. There's this deleted scene I watched a while back where there was this other very intense ritual going on, and Danny was telling Christian that she wanted to leave the Harga, and then he got angry and turned the subject around to her giving him flowers at dinner, and how that made him feel like an inadequate boyfriend. Like, hey dude, you are the worst. You don't have the balls to just break up with her, even though it's obvious you've been wanting to. You were gonna go to Sweden for 2 weeks without telling her, and then on top of that, you forgot her birthday and then got all pissy about it when she had every right to be upset, which she actually wasn't really upset at all. And then he talks about her dependency on him and whatnot, and when she brings up breaking up and she acknowledges that they're bad for each other, it's just, I don't know, he's so frustrating, and his friends are also the literal worst too. There's just this arrogant frat boy lack of empathy that they all have when it comes to Danny, which I guess despite Danny getting brainwashed by the cult, a lot of people are like, good for her for Danny at the end of the movie. Anyways, back on track to the actual movie. I'm going to be talking about the visual effects again because I can't stop thinking about it. There are so many kind of easy to miss CGI moments, or whatever you want to call them. There are flowers that are pulsating to Danny's breathing or her heart rate, and vines grow and extend over the maypole and the chairs and the tables, and there's faces in the trees, and the trees are moving around like waves, and the tree bark is rippling and stretching. Grass is growing in the skin of Danny's feet and hands, and people's faces are distorted ever so slightly, and the wood planks of the barns and the houses are moving, and it's so trippy, and I love it so much. I have so much respect for the visual effects team and their work, because I can only imagine the amount of effort put into all of it. Besides aesthetics, the visuals really make this movie. It's so good. Okay, let's talk about the Harga for a second here, now that we're kind of into the thick of the film. They are so scary and so insane. They're just textbook cult. And now that's not to say that every Swedish small commune is a cult, obviously, but the love bombing, the behavior modification, hindering self-consciousness, it's all very extremist cult. And then the whole thing with the seasons of life, what is that? I remember my very first reaction to the scene with the cliff. It was very much like Danny's, just crazy adrenaline and then shock and then just numb for a little while. The Harga are emotionally and psychologically tearing down Danny while also bolstering her up and making her feel connected and loved, so that they can get to that moment in the ending where she is just accepting that this is her family and her life now. And I suppose that's what the movie itself is doing. I watched a video essay after watching the movie that essentially explains how Midsommar itself as a movie operates in the way that the Harga does. The essay that I watched articulated this concept in a much better way, so you should go watch it. It's How Midsommar Brainwashes You by Acolytes of Horror. We are dealing with the pain and grief that Danny has experienced that carries on throughout the movie, and then we meet Pele and the Harga, and they're just so accepting and just ready to take you in with open arms, while we're also experiencing Danny's point of view of Christian, and there's that level of frustration. The movie operates like the Harga, and we, the audience, are Danny, being exhausted to the point where a positive reaction to the ending is almost warranted. It's crazy stuff. But unlike the reaction the Harga is hoping for, at the end of the movie, I still felt like this. So I watched a funny video of Elijah Wood to calm myself down, and I felt a bit more like this. Thanks for joining me for movie night. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like and comment down below what movie I should watch for movie night next. Also, I plan to do more videos like this and that are more organized than this in the future, so consider subscribing. Every bit of love and light is appreciated here. You are appreciated here, and I'll see you when I see ya.